Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a full face contour step-by-step video. People always ask how I contour, and I was with my girlfriend getting ready the other day and I used so many brushes and she was confused why I use so many brushes just to do the same thing. So I'm gonna show you guys why today, right here, now. Cool. So the first thing I do is take my Laura Mercier eye primer. It's the Eye Basics, and I use Wheat. And I actually use it for under my eyes and any blemishes because it's clay. It really just covers everything. So I use this color for under eye because it has a little bit of like a peach undertone to it, and that's really good for covering dark circles. And I just paint my whole face. I take like a compact kabuki brush, a smaller one, and I tap it so it just goes into the skin, and I don't actually take any product off because I want it to be like basically my new skin. And it's really important to get in the inner corner of your eye and not just under your eye for the darkness, because that's actually where a lot of the shadow comes from. I'm going to take my NARS concealer, and I'm using the color Ginger, and this is kind of like a yellow undertone to it. And I actually use this as basically my foundation. I don't use a ton, but I do stripes. I think you guys have seen me do this before. So after I have done the stripes, I'm going to take my big fluffy kabuki brush, and I'm gonna use my Rosewater Face Mist, the Roses and Rosé, that's my favorite. And I like to spray the brush. You can also spray your face, although that did not get anywhere on my face. And then I just buff it out and blend it all in. Okay, so then after I've done that base with the concealer, I'm going to take my Pacifica that you can get at Whole Foods. It's their BB cream, and it's kind of got a yellow undertone, but it's just really hydrating and really light. And so I do a little bit of that, and then I will mix in an illuminator. I'm gonna use a gold illuminator, and this is number 10 Pearlescence. It's almost out. Send me more. Again, spraying the brush. I'm just gonna put my brush in this, mix it on my hand a little bit, and then I'm gonna go over everything that I just did. I also like to go in with my Beauty Blender and just push everything into the skin. It kind of blends everything out, and it sets the liquid makeup really well. But I'm gonna go in with my L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Concealer in Cool. It's a light medium C45. And I'm just gonna go under my eyes one more time. So this is also more of like it has a little more pink in it. And so that's why I'm doing this around my eye area. I'm gonna use my Beauty Blender to blend it. Where I feel like I can still see like my blemishes and like a little redness, I'm just gonna go in with the same, the L'Oreal True Match Concealer, but I'm gonna use more my skin tone, which is their light medium W45.
While you're applying that,
yeah,
have you seen difference in using like drugstore makeup versus like using, you know, like makeup from Sephora?
I love drugstore makeup. I'm queen of the drugstore makeup. I think that a lot of the more expensive stuff is usually just like because of the brand or the marketing of it. There are so many amazing drugstore products that I think honestly work better. So now that I have my foundation on, I'm gonna go in with my Tarte. It's actually a foundation, but I'm gonna use it as a highlight. It's really subtle because it's only like one shade lighter than my actual skin tone. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm actually gonna mix a tiny bit of my NARS concealer in light 2.3 Madeline.
How bright are you supposed to contour under your eyes?
So your highlight under your eye area is supposed to be 1 to 2 shades lighter, and your contour is supposed to be 1 to 2 shades darker. I'm going to use my concealer brush. I'm gonna mix these colors together, and I'm just gonna do some lines. And really this area right here, this like almost like a triangle here, is the best place to put it. And then I like to put a tiny bit on my chin, a little bit on my lip, like my upper lip. You can even do it on the center of your lip. And then in between my eyebrows, and you can tell like there's not, I use the majority of it right here, and then whatever's left on my brush, I'm just kind of taking to the other places on my face. Then I'm going to go in with my Beauty Blender and just push everything in. After we do that, I'm gonna go in with my Makeup Forever Ultra HD, and it's just, obviously, it's a foundation stick, but it's not my color. And I'm gonna just use this to contour. And also, the reason why I start with a foundation stick is it kind of puts warmth back in your face and blends everything together. My big kabuki brush, and make sure it's not too wet. You don't want to rub off the foundation that you have under. And I like to start with my jawline, and you want to blend it kind of downward into your neck. So honestly, if you wanted to, you could, if you wanted to have a nice, natural, kind of dewy makeup look, you can leave like this. We can be done. And then, because we put definition back into my face, we've highlighted the areas that would naturally have sunlight hitting them. If you wanted, you could powder what you have with like a pressed powder, like the Charlotte Tilbury one. Now that I've done that, I'm gonna go in with a yellow powder, and I switch off between my Wet n Wild Contouring Palette Contour. It's their Caramel Toffee color, which is, I think, their dark shade. And you can see this is pretty yellow, kind of like a banana powder from like Ben Nye, that one that was very popular. Also, this is a little more subtle of a yellow, but this is the NYX palette, their contour and highlight palette, and so I'll use that color too. I'm going to use this guy right now because I want to brighten this a little bit more than usual. So I put on my Beauty Blender and I just press it against my nose, under my eye. And then I also like to use this for anywhere that I highlighted. Done that. Now I'm going to go in with a highlight. So you can use whatever highlight that you like. I am weird, and I like, my favorite highlight is this Milani, also from the drugstore, Brow Fix Brow Kit, and I think it's their lightest shade. Yeah, it's #1 light. And this highlight color, I like to use on my actual face. I go in with a small brush. This is just the one that I chose. It doesn't have to be flat like this. It can be angled. It could be more like this. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm just gonna use the smallest amount. Tap off the excess, and then just lightly dust it right here, because that's where the light would hit me. And I'm gonna sing while I do this. A jingle, a makeup jingle. You can go in with a smaller brush, and you just lightly down the center of the nose, up into the middle of the forehead. Stop it. And then I'm gonna take my concealer brush and just blend that out. And then I'm going to go on my lip. Center of the lip, why not? A little bit chin. Do a little more on the cheeks, around the cheekbone. We like to glow. So now I'm gonna go in, because you know we're not done. So now I'm gonna go in with a blush. I like to use my e.l.f. St. Lucia bronzer blush palette. And I like to go in with a really fluffy big brush. And this has a tiny bit of shimmer in it, so does actually the bronzer. I'm gonna use both, but stay mostly with the actual blush. And I'm just gonna go into my cheek area. Doesn't have to be precise, because there's not that much color. And this is just going to set and blend everything on your face together. Actually, I'm gonna pause, and I'm gonna just explain that this is the most detailed part of this whole process. And I use probably 4 different contour and bronzer colors, and I use probably 3 different brushes to get like that defined, natural, airbrushed look. So the first one I'm gonna go in with my angled fluffy brush is the Kevyn Aucoin, I think it's their contour powder, or it's the sculpting powder in medium. It's very taupey and a little bit of like a brown, it's like a brown gray. And the reason why I'm starting with this is because I want to create the shadow in my face before I go in with bronzer or any warmer color, because this is gonna be what defines everything else that we do. So I'm gonna start in the center of my cheek, right here, and just blend it back into the hairline. And then I like to go into my temple. So now step 2 is going to take a smaller brush and go in with the bronzy color. And I'm gonna go in with my NYX palette, contour and highlight palette. And I'm gonna use all the colors. But I'm gonna start with this more orangey one. And then I'm gonna get most of that color and then just brush back. And then tap it off and lightly do the same thing right here. I'm gonna stop here because it actually looks really blended and nice, and it's not too much. So yeah. Okay, so that's the look, the finished look. Hope you learned something. Ask questions if you need help with anything. That's a good one to say. And like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what you guys want to see next time. And thanks for watching. Yay!